The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This was a famous quote many have heard but never knew where it came from. The quote was one of many from the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or FDR. He was a very interesting president holding several records. Franklin Roosevelt was born January 30th, 1882 in Hyde Park, New York. As he grew up, he looked up to his cousin Theodore Roosevelt, who was the 26th president. If you don't know who Theodore Roosevelt is, he's the guy with the cool mustache and likes to hunt. FDR was a smart child. He was able to go on to an elite school known as Groton Schools, which personally, to me, it looks like a college rather than a grade school. After cruising through the grade school, he went to Harvard. Later, after Harvard, he attended the Columbia Law School, but quit after passing the bar exam. He didn't have any aptitude for law and made no effort to overcome that handicap by hard work, said one of his professors. He then worked for a New York City law firm. Then he later proceeded to become governor of New York. In 1910, FDR ran for Senate in New York and succeeded, and no sooner was appointed Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Navy. Next thing you knew, he was Vice President of the United States of America for President Hoover. On March 4th, 1933, FDR became president in one of the most landslide victories. He served for 3 terms, exactly 12 years and 3 months. For each term, he was assigned a new vice president. There was John N. Garber, Henry A. Wallace, and Harry Truman. I like to call them Larry, Moe, and Curly. The wife of FDR was Anna Eleanor Roosevelt. She was also his cousin and niece of Theodore Roosevelt. They met in Harvard, of all places, and it was love at first sight, or maybe second sight. They may have visited each other when they were younger. That's a bit awkward. Now, FDR had horrible luck because he just so happened to be elected president during the Great Depression. Yay! Many citizens were unemployed and banks were shutting down. Yet, FDR pushed a record number of bills through Congress during his first 100 days program to grant immediate relief to tens of millions of unemployed during the depths of Great Depression. He continued Hoover's Federal Emergency Relief Administration and created the Civilians Conservation Corps. He also created a talk show on the radio to keep the spirits high in America. But wait, there's more. Not only the Great Depression, but World War II had just begun. At first, America was to only assist through support and would not send any troops over. But all of that changed when several kamikaze planes crashed into Pearl Harbor, creating a devastating event. It was because of this America declared war on Japan, and by doing so, declared war on Germany and Italy. Now, to ease off of this depressing subject, FDR had over 635 vetoes and had appointed 8 members into the Supreme Court. Plus, he had the most executive orders out of all the presidents, having 3,721 orders. One executive order, 9066, was issued during World War II on February 9th, 1942, allowing the creation of Japanese internment camps in America. He also appointed Thanksgiving as a holiday. So you guys better thank him for your break next week. He was also able to accomplish many other things, such as the Agricultural Adjustment Act, or AAA, which was a United States federal law of the New Deal era which reduced agricultural productions by paying farmers subsidies not to plant on part of their land and to kill off excess livestock. Another was that the U.S. Social Security system was created during his presidency, and he also established a national minimum wage through the Fair Labor Standards Act. Now, you may think that he would have no controversies, but there was one. FDR had polio, making him immensely paralyzed, having to be in a wheelchair or use a cane. But he didn't want to show that the president was weak, so they hid his illness. Oftentimes, they would destroy film and photos of FDR that would show his legs and cane. Now, last but not least, FDR had one scandal, and by far the funniest. Republican leaders in Congress told a story that he had left his dog, Fala, in the Aleutian Islands after a family trip. At the taxpayer's expense, he supposedly sent a Navy destroyer to rescue his dog. Now, I would have done the same for my dog, but I wouldn't have sent a destroyer. Oh, no. I would have sent an entire fleet. Sadly, after 3 months into his 13th year, he passed away. The death was sudden for thousands of people. No one expected him to pass on, yet sadly, like all great things, they must come to an end.